Hello everyone and welcome to SunUp. I'm Lyndall Stout. These warmer days we've been having have really perked up the wheat crop around the state. But given the extended dry conditions in some areas, we want to know how the crop is really faring. To join us to answer that question, here's SunUp's Curtis Hare with our OSU Extension small grain specialist, Dr. Amanda Silva.
April is here, it's getting warm, and Amanda, that kind of means, as we were talking off camera, there's really two types of crops. Right here, you know, it's pretty patchy, but if you just look down yonder, it's pretty full, so that's kind of what's happening right now, huh?
Yes, we had some wheat that was planted a little earlier, had a little bit more time to grow, and a lot of wheat that was planted late, just because of the conditions we had in the fall, lack of rain or late rain, and so we had some fields like this with where we had issues with emergence also. So it's really two crops out there right now.
And as Liberty, we had Liberty Galvin on last week, our weed specialist, and that's actually kind of contributed to some of the weeds issues as well, right?
Yes, we are having a very bad battle with weeds, especially this year.
Is there any other type of pressure? I mean, is there any like injury from the drought or insect pressure at all?
Yeah, so I just received a report from a farmer in southwest Oklahoma. So they are seeing brown wheat mites in southwest Oklahoma. You know, with the dry conditions, the brown wheat mites just thrive. It's warm conditions as well. And until we see a rain, it's very likely that they're gonna still be there.
And if what I remember, a couple years ago, we had an issue with brown wheat mite in a very similar situation with the warmer temperatures and lack of rainfall, and they can be quite damaging, can't they?
Yes, they can damage the crop. They can really hurt the crop. They feed on the leaves, so it can't damage. But with a crop like this year and the uncertainty on the weather, is really hard to pencil out controlling it, especially because there is not a set threshold for controlling brown wheat mites. And conditions not looking very, how can I say, well, with not seeing much rain in the forecast, so we are not very excited about putting more money on that crop. So hopefully we get some rain that also helps to get rid of those mites.
And as you said, like rain, I'm sure that's probably the biggest thing right now that this overall wheat crop needs in Oklahoma.
Yes, we do. So this wind is being just terrible. It's being warm and dry, and now most of the crop is just getting close to be at jointing or just past jointing, and this is the time that starts that critical period for wheat. So this is the time that the wheat's going to be producing those grains, those berries in the head, and it's what we call the critical period for wheat. So rain right now, the water requirement for the crop is going to increase, and so it would be very important for our yield potential to have some rain at this point.
So for first hull of stem, I imagine pretty much the crop has pretty much reached first hull of stem throughout the state?
Yes, for most of our fields, I think we are at first hull of stem and past first hull of stem.
You know, mentioning first hull of stem, a few weeks ago you were on SunUp and you were talking about an interesting study that you and the team were looking at in regards to dual purpose and first hull of stem. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so every year we measure forage, fall forage production in the forage trials, and then we also measure, we compare varieties. We also measure first hollow stem for different varieties. And in general, we compare them, the first hollow stem of plots that are non-grazed. They're just planted in September and then growing at full speed since then, and then we collect first hollow stem in February and March. So this year we started mowing the plots and to see what are the differences or in growth overall for all varieties when they are not grazed and when they are grazed. But of course here we are talking about simulation. And another thing that we wanted to see is what are the differences between varieties within systems. So what we are seeing is that by simulating that grazing, we see a delay in development that's very expected. But for some varieties, we would see maybe a 10-day delay in growth, and for some we would see we are seeing 20 days delay in growing when we remove that canopy. So here we are just comparing them with that simulation and non-simulation, and the results are all on the blog if farmers are interested in seeing how those different varieties look. and how long it takes for some of those to reach first hollow stem when that canopy is removed.
And all that's really important to a producer's bottom line, obviously.
Yes, that information is crucial. We all know how much gain, how important is an extra week of that crop for cattle, for weight gain. And so knowing how much they can wait for different varieties to pull off cattle is really important.
And your blog is also a great tool for producers out there if there are if there are brown wheat mite, and it's a way that you can get information out to the public pretty quickly.
Yes, they can look there, and also they can send comments in that blog, and I see it and I answer it anytime they have any questions.
And it's also that time of year too for your plot tours, right?
Yeah, so the schedule is set, and it's also posted on the website. So we'll have plot tours in different locations across the state. Very excited about it. And if producers want to see the date, it's all on the website.
Well, thanks Amanda for coming on. It's that time of the year in the show where we'll have you on a lot more, and hopefully we get some rain.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks Amanda. Dr. Amanda Silva, OSU Small Grain Specialist here at Oklahoma State University.